In 2019, fiancé versus spouse, K1 versus CR1, which is better? Before setting out on the path to bring your partner to the USA, and well before solidifying any marriage plans, you should carefully review and consider the pros and cons of the two types of marriage-based visa that are available for you. Knowing your choices before you take actions that might be irreversible can save you time, money, and frustration. I have had too many consultations with guys and gals just return from what they hoped as their last trip before applying to immigration. Often they are married and then disappointed to discover how slow spouse visas are and to learn that the spouse visa is the only path now available. And sometimes they find on returning to the USA, still single, that the spouse visa is a better or necessary choice for them. And they basically have to get right back on the aircraft and get married first before applying. So you are here watching this video, so that shouldn't happen to you. Now, I am Fred Wall, the Visa Coach, and I help you get through a confusing and frustrating immigration process so that you can have a happy life together in the USA with your foreign partner. And well, please watch to the end, because towards the end of this video, I will talk about joint sponsors and also dependent children, and how one type of visa may be the only choice you would have. Now, let's talk about what is better, the K1 fiancé visa or the CR1 spouse visa. When bringing your partner to live with you in the United States, you have two choices, and they both include marriage. Sorry, but U.S. immigration does not offer boy or girlfriend visas. So let's start by comparing the K1 fiancé visa and the CR1 spouse visa. With the K1 visa, you are both free to marry, and you both intend to marry, but you have not actually gotten married yet, okay? The visa is designed to give your foreign fiancé the opportunity to visit the USA for up to 90 days. She or he can meet your family and friends, check out where you live, and get a more informed knowledge of what it would be like to remain with you in the USA as your spouse. Remember, your future spouse is giving up her or his foreign home and family, so is taking a big life-altering step. So fair enough, give him or her a chance to decide. Then, if she or he marries you within those 90 days, your new spouse is eligible to remain in the USA by applying for permanent residency. Proof of approval of permanent residency is that green card we have heard so much about. Now, the process for a K1 fiancé visa is as follows. First of all, you have to have met face-to-face. This does not count webcams or Skype or telephone calls. This means the two of you being physically in the same space, meeting each other, seeing each other, breathing the same air. That's the basic eligibility requirement. Then after you have met, you agree with each other that you intend to marry and get engaged. And I help you prepare and submit a thorough application to USCIS, that's also known as Homeland Security. The application we submit is the front-loaded petition package, that Visa Coach is known for. And by front-loaded, it means that you and I take extra effort to include all relevant evidences that will make the final consulate reviewers, their job easier to make a positive decision to approve your visa. Now, Homeland Security reviews the petition and then passes it on to the U.S. Department of State. And the Department of State operates our consulates around the world. And they'll send your application to the consulate that's closest to your fiancé. And the consulate will ask your fiancé in for a one-on-one screening interview. And that is when the decision to approve or deny is made. Now, once granted, the visa is good for 6 months for your fiancé to travel to the USA. And once here, your fiancé has 90 days to look over the situation and get married to you. Or if she or he decides not to marry, should leave the USA. Now, after the wedding, there is one final step. The K1 visa had served its purpose. It allowed your fiancé to enter the USA. But for permission for your new spouse to remain in the USA, you must apply for adjustment of status. The other available visa, well, is the spouse visa. This allows your foreign spouse, who you have already married, enter the United States and to take up permanent residency with you. Her or his green card, well, is already approved. Actually, there are two kinds of spouse visa, the CR1 and the IR1. The primary difference is how long you are married on the day you apply. If married less than 2 years, your spouse gets a CR1 visa. If married longer, your spouse gets an IR1. As most of my married clients are newlyweds, I will just call spouse visas CR1 visas. But the process is the same for either. Now, the process for a CR1 spouse visa is as follows. First, you marry your foreign partner, okay? This needs to be legally binding in the country where the wedding was conducted. We then prepare and submit, again, a front-loaded spouse visa application to USCIS. The evidence is that you have a genuine and sincere bona fide relationship with your spouse is just as important as when we applied for a fiancé visa. An official piece of paper that states you are married, well, is just not good enough. The final reviewing officer must be convinced that no gaming of immigration, no sham marriage has occurred. And those proofs are about what happened, well, before and after the ceremony. The ceremony is just a small part. After USCIS approval, your case is passed on to the Department of State, to their National Visa Center, NVC, located in New Hampshire. Now, unlike a fiancé visa, where your case was only briefly touched by NVC and quickly sent overseas for further processing, NVC now is much more intimately involved with your spouse visa case. We will be working directly with NVC to pay fees and submit more information about your spouse and your financial eligibility. Eventually, once NVC is satisfied, they will schedule an interview appointment for your spouse at the U.S. consulate handling your case overseas. Now, at the consulate, your spouse has the final screening interview, and the visa is approved or denied. Now, the CR1 spouse visa process is what's called regular immigration. That means that once the visa is approved, your spouse is also approved for permanent residency, and her or his green card will be waiting to be issued after arrival to the USA. Spouse or fiancé visas are similar, but which is better for you depends on your priorities. The main important issues to compare on a fiancé versus spouse visa are, well, processing time, the cost, how soon after arrival your spouse wants to work, the ages of any dependent children who are coming along, whether a joint sponsor is required, and whether you have any criminal history. Okay, so let's talk about processing time. For most, the biggest difference between fiancé and spouse visas is how long one must wait for the visa to be issued, start to finish. In 2019, K1 fiancé visas on average are currently taking 8 to 10 months. CR1 spouse visas on average are taking 14 to 18 months. So, a fiancé visa takes about half as much time till arrival in the USA. Why does the spouse visa take so much longer? Well, primarily the delay is because the time it takes to approve permanent residency, the green card, is included. Spouse visa is regular immigration and no need to apply separately for adjustment of status. The fiancé visa is a non-immigrant visa, officially only for a short 90-day stay. To stay longer, the spouse needs to apply for the permanent residency while remaining in the USA together with her or his American spouse. Now, the costs. When you send in your K1 visa application to Homeland Security, you include payment of $535. And prior to the consulate interview, your fiancé must undergo a medical exam. The fees for this, on average, are around $340. Your fiancé also pays to the consulate another application fee of $265. Now, to compare apples to apples, here are the additional costs for the green card, which will be needed if all goes well. At the original medical exam overseas, your fiancé's vaccination records were checked. However, the standard for vaccinations for permanent residency are higher. So another doctor, this time in the USA, must review the vaccinations again. And this costs around $100. Then the filing fee for adjustment of status is paid to USCIS, and that's $1,225. So all in all, K-1 application through to green card, the grand total is roughly $2,465. Now the costs for a spouse visa are as follows. The US application fee, $535, same as before. At the National Visa Center stage, you pay $120 affidavit of support fee plus $325 consulate application fee. And prior to the consulate interview, your spouse must undergo a medical exam, and the fees for this on average are about $340. Finally, after the interview, but before beginning the journey to the USA, there is one final fee to be paid. This time it is to USCIS, and it is called an immigrant fee, and its payment is for the processing of the green card, and the amount is $220. So the final cost from submitting your CR1 visa application through to green card is roughly about $1,500. And so roughly the spouse visa and green card is about $1,000 less than the fiancé visa and green card. How soon after arrival may your spouse work? Well, upon arrival on a spouse visa, the spouse is pre-approved for the green card and permanent residency. This means that your spouse can take a job and work in the USA immediately. He or she can go directly from the airport to the office. However, in the case of a fiancé visa, your new spouse may only work after the wedding and after applying for adjustment of status and work authorization and being granted work authorization. Currently, work authorization is taking about 6 months to be approved. And for most couples, they need also a few more months to get married and organized before we can submit the application. So plan for an after fiancé visa spouse to have to wait around about 8 months in your apartment before beginning to work versus the spouse visa where she's eligible to work on arrival, including dependent children. Well, with either fiancé or spouse visa paths, the dependent children of your foreign partner can be included. But the major difference is that the cutoff age to include a child is 3 years lower for the spouse visa. Children may only be included with a spouse visa if they are under 18 years old on the day of your wedding. But older children, 18 to 21, are still eligible to immigrate with parent when the fiancé visa path is chosen. Is a joint sponsor required? Well, some consulates do not allow the use of a joint sponsor for a fiancé visa application. But all consulates will accept a joint sponsor for a spouse visa. Consulates in Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Nigeria will not accept a joint sponsor for a fiancé visa. So if you will need a joint sponsor, well, best is you check first which visas the consulate will allow you to use. Now, criminal history. The fiancé visa eligibility requirements ask applicants with arrest, citation, or conviction history to provide the arrest, court, and probation records as part of their application. And depending on the issues, they may require waivers in order for the person to be allowed to apply for the visa. But the spouse visa does not have these extra requirements, and sometimes couples choose the spouse visa route in order to avoid the extra complications. Now, in summary, speed. The fiancé visa is about twice as fast. Costs. The spouse visa through the green card costs about $1,000 less. How soon to work? The spouse visa allows your spouse to work immediately. Fiancé visa normally about 8 months after arrival. Dependent children. Fiancé visa can include dependents up to 21 years old, but the spouse visa can only include dependents who are under 18 on the day of the wedding. Joint sponsor. All spouse visas may use a joint sponsor. Some consulates, however, do not allow a fiancé visa applicant to use a joint sponsor, so check. Criminal history. The fiancé visas require extra documentation where arrests, convictions, citations occurred in the past. And finally, the most important consideration of all, when deciding between a fiancé or spouse visa is, what will make my partner happy? If your partner has strong preferences and wants to wed in front of friends and family, well, you are probably best served to make her or his dreams come true. This was Fred Wall, the Visa Coach. Now please like or add your comments to this video, and then go to visacoach.com and sign up for the Visa Coach monthly newsletter. Each month it is full of tips and advice on marriage-based immigration, and it's free of charge. And when you sign up, you get 2 free ebooks I have written, 120 K-1 visa interview practice questions, and 5 things you must know before starting on your visa. Finally, when you're ready to get started, call me for your complimentary case evaluation and speak with me directly.
If you are considering hiring Visa Coach to personally guide you through your immigration adventure, join him for a complimentary case evaluation. He listens to you to learn the red flags and strengths of your case, your eligibility and goals. He suggests which visa is right for you, the best strategy to get it, and how soon your partner can join you. To learn more about Visa Coach's services and how he can help you, book your free case evaluation today.